All right, hello and welcome. It's Sanchez here. Today we're going to be reviewing some of the basics. The topic that we will be reviewing today is actually the order of operations. So make sure you take down a piece of paper and take some notes because we're going to go over how to do the order of operations. Order of operations is just an order in which we do things. In this case, mathematics operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, exponents, parentheses, all that stuff. All right. So we have some learning targets today, and it's pretty simple. Use the order of operations to evaluate a problem involving more than one operation. In math, like I said, an operation is just how you multiplying, adding, subtracting. So if you have a problem, like 2 plus 3 minus 4, you need to know how to do it. All right. So I've seen this type of problem on the internet a lot before, and it's this one. It says, evaluate this problem. It says 8 divided by 2 times 2 plus 2. What does this equal? Some people might say this is equal to 1. And some people might say this is equal to 8. All right. So we're going to find out which one it is, Yeah. So let me just get rid of this. And then before we even attempt a problem like this, we're gonna have to practice using what's called the order of operations. All right, so we're gonna pin this. We're gonna put a pin in it. We're gonna move forward, and we're gonna write what is the order of operations. Order of operations. Some of you guys might be wondering what that is. All right. And it's a hierarchy order, all right? So there's a certain way we gotta do things in math. And some of you guys might know this already, but this is review. We're reviewing our basics so that by the time we start our actual lessons in algebra, you'll be ready. That's the goal, all right? So it's an order, things go in order. Just like a recipe, you gotta do things in order. Otherwise, you get the wrong result, You don't put your shoes on before your socks, do you? If you do, I'm not judging, but that is not the conventional way of doing it. So first things first, let me just, first things first. You might have heard of this phrase called PEMDAS. All right. And what PEMDAS says is the order in which we go. So this is the order of operations. We're going to go downward. What does the P stand for? The P stands for parentheses. The E stands for exponents. The M stands for multiplication. The D stands for division. A is for addition. I cannot remember if it has 1 or 2 T's. I think it only has 1. Subtraction. All right. You start here. So this is the first operation right here. You start here. And then the last operation is, and you end over here. All right. But PEMDAS is a good way to remember it, but it's not the perfect way. Because although this order matters, although this order is important, you will do parentheses and exponents in that order. One thing that's important to remember is these are interchangeable. So you can do multiplication or division, whichever comes first, left to right. And the same thing is true for addition, okay? So the way I want you guys to remember it is if you write it like this. P, E, M slash D, A slash S. All right, it's still technically PEMDAS, but now this makes more sense because we don't, So you're gonna first check parentheses, then exponents, but then you're gonna check what you gotta do first, multiply or divide. And that really depends on the way you read your equation going from left to right. Whatever shows up first is what you're gonna end up doing. And the same thing for addition slash subtraction. After you're done with the multiplication division sections, you're gonna focus on the addition slash subtraction, okay? And so we're gonna go straight into some examples, and then we'll say this one for last, okay? All right, so some examples. All right, so you're like, okay, I get it. I know what PEMDAS is. No, I don't know what all that is theoretically. Let's do some actual math. All right, let's say we have the following problem. 4 plus 3. Oops, my pencil got desynced. Give me 1 second. And let me just lift up the pencil. All right, sorry about that. My pencil just is acting funny. So let's say we have to do 4 plus 3 times 2. All right. Now let's look at our order of operations. All right. The way it's telling us, the first thing we got to do is parentheses. Do you see any parentheses? No. So we're done with that. Next is exponents. Do we see any exponents? No. So let's ignore that. And then we can either do multiplication or division, but we're going to have to read our problem from left to right, right? So let's see. We have some multiplication here. So we're going to have to take care of the multiplication first to do this problem. So we're going to keep the 4 because we're not doing anything. We're not worrying about the addition yet. And we're going to keep the plus 9. What does 3 times 2 equals? That actually equals 6. Now, is there any division in this problem? No. So we can just skip that. And then it says addition or subtraction is next. So which one comes first? Addition or subtraction? Well, there's no subtraction. There's addition here. And so 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. All right. Yeah, we got it. All right. So we're going to go over some more examples because this was a relatively easy one. So let's see if we can do one that might be a little bit more confusing. We're going to have 3. No, my bad. Wrong number. It's going to be 30 divided by 5 plus 2 times 10. All right. Now this one looks a little bit weird, but it really isn't. All right. So this is example 2. All right. Now once again, we're going to look at our order of operations. Do we see any parentheses? I don't see one, so we can just skip that. All right. Now we're going to focus on exponents. Do you see any exponents? No. Okay. So we're going to skip those as well. Multiplication slash division. Remember, we got to read from left to right. So what comes first? We have a division here and a multiplication here. And I know this says M slash D, but we don't care which one comes first. We don't care that the M is written here. I could have easily written D slash M, okay? So we're going to do whichever one came first. In this case, this division came first, so we're going to take care of the division. So what's 3 divided by 5? Well, that's just 6. All right? And then we just bring the rest over, plus 2 times 10. And now we got to look at this new problem and follow our order of operations, right? There is no parentheses or exponents, but there is multiplication right here, right? So we got to take care of that first because multiplication comes before addition. So what's 2 times 10? Well, that's just 20. So we're going to rewrite the rest and then just bring down to 20. And then we're just going to write a problem. And then what's 6 plus 20? That's 26. All right. So now that we've got this down, I'm going to give you guys a problem that you're going to try and solve on your own. And that's going to be this following problem. It's going to be 7 times 2 plus 1 times 2. All right. Nope. And then, yeah, so you're going to solve this problem by yourself. All right. So next up, we're going to go into a more complicated example, okay? So we still have some more space here. So we're going to go into example 4. All right. We're going to try and implement some more stuff, right? So let's say we have 3 plus 2 divided by 5. All right. So right here, we have parentheses. That means we got to solve whatever's inside the parentheses first. And then you know, if you and so what's here? What do we have inside the parentheses? We have 3 plus 2. All right. So what's 3 plus 2? No, that's just 5. All right. My pencil's acting here. Give me 1 second. Okay. So with 3 plus 2, that's just 5, right? So we're going to write 5 divided by 5. And because it's just a number by itself, you can actually take off the parentheses. We're just going to leave it because it doesn't really change your work. 5 divided by 5, that's actually going to equal to what? All right. So that's another type of example. Another type of example we can do, example 5, is the following. You can do, we're just going to do our little problem up here. It's going to be 8 divided by 2 times 2 plus 2. All right, so we're actually going to do our challenge problem. All right. What does this equal? All right. So if we follow our order of operations, it says to take care of the parentheses first, right? So parentheses first. What's 2 times 2? Well, that's 4. And then we're going to leave that in parentheses. Everything else stays the same. All right. So one thing that's important to know is in algebra, whenever you see a number outside of a parentheses, that's we're implying multiplication. All right. So it's 2 times 4. So right here, let's see. This part is considered 2 times 4, right? So my question is, what do we do first? Do we take care of the multiplication, or do we take care of the division? And this is where some of us get confused. Some people would say, well, this has the parentheses, we'll take care of the multiplication. Just because it has the parentheses doesn't mean that we haven't figured out the parentheses. When we say parentheses, we say take care of the stuff inside the parentheses, not the actual operations outside, all right? So we're going to be looking at this as 8 divided by 2 times 4. These are the same thing. There's no difference. The parentheses is just there, all right? So if you look at it this way, which one goes first? Well, you know, there's no parentheses, there's no exponents. Next up is multiplication and division. And how do we do that? We solve that by reading it from right to left, whichever comes first. So when you divide 8 by 2, what do you get? You get 4. And you're going to keep this 4 here. All right? And then what's 4 times 4? So the answer here is 16. So if you look at the answers I did over here, I didn't write anything. So if you guessed your answer right, you're good. If you didn't, then you got to work it out. I know I put 1 and 8 as some of the possible solutions, but that just means I did the mental test. I was just trying to trick you, to be honest. We'll do one more final example, and then we'll be done, all right? And this one is going to be your final time. So. All right, so this is kind of weird, right? 5 plus 3 over 2. How do we do that? Well, division, whenever you have a fraction, first of all, fractions mean division, all right? So if I were you, all right, fractions means divide, right? And then a fraction implies groups as well. So whatever is on the top, that's a group, right? This is a group. And you can write a parentheses in here. And this is another group, right? Granted, we don't have to do anything here on the bottom. On the bottom, we're good. But we do have an operation on the top. And we got to take care of the operation here first. So what's 5 plus 3? Well, that's 8. And then 8 divided, and then we're going to have 8 over 2. What's 8 over 2? That's the same thing as 8 divided by 2. So we're going to get the answer as 4. And that's basically it. You could have 5 plus 3 times 2 on the top and then divided by 2, and it would have been all the same. You still have to follow the order of operations. Anyways, that's all I got for this lesson. Make sure if you need help with the order of operations to show up to the Zoom sessions, because that is where I help you. And then how do I stop recording?